Whoa. All right. Also, it's not
And
always
we're back.
podcast. We're back. It's reviews day.
Guess who's
Reviews
back?
day.
Back again.
Doing it again. Reviews day. It's a light week last week. Too much. Too many books this week. Almost not enough books. So a little confusing. It was okay. It was a nice little rest. Nice little rest.
Yeah,
Also, it's Comics
we're still
podcast.
reading we're still reading old stuff all the time, so it's a nice
Yeah.
mix.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, the what we're going to dig into, we'll jump right into it. We'll dig into is, I think a little. I'm happy this book came out because I got to breathe a little bit with it more. I wasn't rushing through it. I feel like last week I didn't really give enough. I think last week I think you even said I'm super negative on some certain things because I think I just blew through. I'm like I gotta finish this. So I
Yeah,
feel like I knew what was going to happen, or I felt like I knew what was going to happen. I kind of blew through it. Then it didn't happen the way my brain was having it happen. I was mad at it. Not
right.
the best way to do it.
Mad at your
Um,
brain. Stupid
so
brain.
this week I was a little bit more open, which I think in one book was good for me. In another book it was bad for me, and that's actually the first two books
Well,
we'll talk about. So let's
that's fine.
let's hook
Let's
it
find
up.
out.
Let's hook it up. Here we go. Kaboom. And this book, pop a full screen real fast. I get my sidebar going. Sidebar, tab bar.
This book is Daredevil, Cold Day in Hell by Charles Soule and Steve McNiven. Before you even give your opinion, I'm gonna say I loved it.
Yeah, I love it. I think this
Okay.
is what this is. And let's talk about money for a second. We love talking about money. We love talking about accounting. So McNiven was in the Mark Millar deal, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
He got, we think, $1 million for Nemesis.
hmm The only reason I mention that is that because basically since that happened, he's been taking specific jobs
Right.
and can really slow down what he wants to do. So the last job before this was the Star Wars Bounty Hunters one one
Right.
shot alpha.
Right. With the Stephen Platt homage cover.
Yeah. And then
McNiven
also,
is a huge Platt fan, by the way, which you don't see
oh,
in
that's
his art
funny.
very often.
No. Hmm.
He loves them. He's like he's obsessed with them. It's really funny.
That's interesting. Well, that's going to be
Yeah.
in Philly in like 3 weeks. Um, at the Fan Expo, which is not exactly a comic book convention, by the way.
No.
Feels not like a comic book convention.
And none of my comic friends go to it.
Yeah.
It's all random people. Like I delivered to a tattoo shop. All the tattoo guys are going. It's like,
Yeah.
all right.
It's a non-comic show. Well, I was in the shop yesterday, and the guy literally told me he's like, because they had a flyer for it, and he's like, if you go to this, like, come to the comic shop before you go to this. I'm like, what? He's like, everyone that shopped here didn't get the free comic book day books. They went to that show and thought they'd have them the next day. They came here on Sunday, and we don't have anything. They were mad at us. It's like, well, go to your LCS first, you know. So
Sure.
LCS. But so the only reason I mentioned the money situation is that Steve McNiven, um, I feel like he did even with the Wolverine book, The Death of Wolverine. I'm not sure when if he got the money around there. That was he was doing more of a Barry Windsor Smith, even into that Star Wars. Here he's doing a bit, I think, of closer to like a Jeff Darrow, uh, Electra Lives Again type of like aesthetic in the feel for that.
Mhm.
Um, but but he's coloring it too. Like it's
That
crazy.
shocked me because after I didn't notice that he's coloring it. I'm like, oh, let me go see who colored it because I want to talk about the Lynn Varley-esque colors through this
Yeah,
book.
right.
And I'm like, oh shit, Steve McNiven colored it. Like I didn't know it reading it, but going back, you're like, damn.
If he's a working artist and couldn't take time, I don't know how long this would have taken. This probably took 3 months, or more. I don't know. I don't know. But they do talk about process. I do think it's a full book, and I can't wait for whatever. This is an evergreen. This will be, I feel like there's a couple Daredevil evergreens. I think, Daredevil Yellow. I want to say the Battling Jack Murdoch, which I was who wrote Battling Jack Murdoch? Was Carmine DiGomenico? Was it Carl Kiesel? I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember who wrote
I mean,
that.
Daredevil has a bunch of evergreen stuff. Obviously, the Frank Miller stuff, the Kevin Smith book constantly sells.
Mm, yeah, Guardian
Guardian
Devil.
Devil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they just
yeah. It's
a bigger hardcover for that, and I would like that for the larger Casada. Yeah, I guess there could even be like a little bit Casada design in here as well, but yeah, this feels very very much like Electra Lives Again.
I think
Uh,
the first trade of Guardian Devil didn't have the one half story, which is like a Casada cover and story.
oh, that's right. Who drew that? Did Casada draw
That
that?
was Casada, yeah.
Jesus.
And then they didn't include that. I don't know if it's in. I hope it's in all new trades, but I know the first one did not have it in there.
Yeah, that was a bad trade. paper was bad.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
selling it. I remember having it and selling it, but um,
Look at these colors. This is he just studied Lynn Varley, like the best of Lynn Varley.
yeah, this
Like
and it's interesting how he's doing this. We'll talk about how he's doing it when he talks about process later on. Like he's literally like kind of like laying it out or sketching it, printing it out on like a vellum, and then like drawing over top of it, then scanning it back into Photoshop, and then color. Like it sounds crazy. So he might even have like, and then he rearranged panels on one of them. It was 16 panels or something.
so
Um,
quick interjection. The point is he got the money from Nemesis, which afforded him the ability to take time off,
Correct.
choose his projects, choose his covers. He doesn't rush anything anymore. He just does it at McNiven speed. When he did that Wolverine miniseries, I think he did the return too. Did he
I
do the
think so.
death
Yeah,
completely?
death
But when it came to
completely.
the return, he did the first issue, realized he couldn't do the whole series, came back and did the last issue.
Who did the middle
And
issues? It's
I
like
think
Kev
Declan
Walker or something.
Shalvey.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right. That's right.
yeah.
No,
So
you're right. Yeah.
good for McNiven for realizing like what he when he slows down, he can put more work into it. Some artists can't do full books because they're just not working. He's working. He's putting everything into this, and it shows. And he and we've like and McNiven, he's got some money. He got Civil War money. You know,
Mhm.
I'm not saying money lasts forever, but
Right.
like I'm glad he was able to take the time on this project.
Yeah, and this is what we want from Marvel. I mean, again, the last so many weeks in between news and reviews, all we do is talk about how Marvel's lowballing people, not paying them. There was a story last week that I forgot to cover, but one of the artists, it was like a hodgepodge cover they did, right? And he knows that he's not getting paid for it. He had like a sketch or something, and they put it was that Ibn
Oh
Kaleo.
yeah, I thought we did cover it.
We might have covered it. I know we talked about it on the phone, but like that,
Yeah,
he's going to be in charge. He's doing some of the Hickman book coming out. Don't piss that guy off. He's doing
yeah,
like a flagship book for you. He's doing like an
yeah.
event book for you.
That's an event book.
Um, so this is kind of like its own product, and it's what we liked about like certain Marvel projects would be on its own. I feel like Origin was on its own, where
Yes,
Origin 2 felt more like let's push that out. I felt like that with that, this feels like its own prestige type of thing. So. Yeah, I mean, overall, just once it hit like that this felt very like, okay, I know what I'm getting. Once it hit to this page, I was like, what's going on here? Because now it's turning into something else. Because even when he was
yeah.
doing the
All of a sudden,
the
it
Barry
looked.
Windsor Smith art,
Yeah,
it was still McNiven, and then he turns it a little differently. So it's interesting because I don't even know what would you say McNiven he came from CrossGen, right? He
CrossGen.
did.
He's from Canada. He moved down to Florida for CrossGen. Took over Meridian after Joshua Middleton left,
Okay.
and he pulled together a monthly book for the most part.
Right.
No, there's a
Okay.
really nice, I think Ringo fill in on that series. Really
Oh, wow,
nice.
okay.
CrossGen did like a fill in month. Derek
Hmm.
Donovan did one. Ringo did one. It was pretty neat. But like, yeah, so he got big from that before he came to Marvel. I think he
And
went right to Marvel.
he went to Marvel and did four, which we were mad at,
We
right?
were mad at the idea of firing Mark Waid and Ringo, funny enough,
Right.
for this Gemis book, which
Hmm.
was Robert. Uh,
Aguirre Sacasa,
yeah, right.
the person who basically did the Afterlife with Archie, kind of revived Archie a little bit,
Yes, really good,
and
and
then
worked on Riverdale.
yeah, basically executive produced and worked on Riverdale for like 7 years.
He's
So
he's a Broadway guy. I think he had written like some sort of Swamp Thing type play first that got him attention.
oh, I see. Okay.
Um,
Interesting.
yeah,
But once it hit to this, but yeah, then after that he was on. I think he went to New Avengers later, but was then did Civil War. But initially, like I remember, like not liking his stuff because I was like, I don't want this book. We were mad at that book. We hated that
we were
book. It was
mad at
like
that book,
Marvel Knights Fantastic Four.
but then when I sat down and read it, because they said, "Listen, we're going to give you both books."
Mhm.
Cool, I'll take both books. That's what you should have led with, to be
Right.
honest with you. And it read really good, but it didn't feel like Fantastic Four. It was like let's make them poor and live in a house, and I'm like, well, Jack Kirby Stan Lee has already made them poor. That's
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
new.
yeah.
Put him in a house, whatever. You should have put him. Regardless, the book was good. It looked good. Hollowell colors, I believe.
Mhm.
That was a McNiven staple at the time.
Yeah, I figured the colors here were either Maury Hollowell or it would have been like Dan Kemp or someone like that,
Mhm.
or Rich Eisenoff.
Yeah.
figure it would be one of those guys, but the fact that he's doing it and in and out of Photoshop, but
I
here it just feels a little bit different. Feels well. I mean, when I saw, I think this panel, I think this one, I
yeah.
was like, oh, you're like do it's more of Frank Wiley, a little bit.
I can
Again,
see that.
I love the
It's the
amalgamation of
mixture.
styles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the Quietly, it's the Miller, it's the Jeff Darrow, it's everything you just said, and Lynn Varley.
yeah,
It's so depressing.
yeah. All part of
It
God's plan. Yeah, this was dope. I mean, again, you're deciding. So I know this is 3 issues, right? But basically,
yes.
probably when it's over, it's gonna be 5 issues. Like it's gonna be 3 issues, yes, but they're a little bit longer. All these
Mhm.
panels, like you're choosing to do this. You're deciding to do this. And I thought that the colors and a lot of this is ugly. This is ugly.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be pleasant.
No.
Um, you know,
Daredevil's world is ugly. It's always been ugly. Like when it's written at its best, it's ugly real world.
yeah, he talks about coloring this or deciding like how he colored this later in the book, but um the only thing that like look at the dog, like Jesus God. But I really felt the difference, like he had the felt like you could feel him getting like the powers back, right? You see him standing
Yes.
up there and you're like, holy, 'cause I almost thought he could see, like because they do his eyes a little bit differently here.
Yeah,
I
his
was like,
eyes are
can
a
he
little.
see? Because essentially there's like a radioactive like terrorist attack essentially blowing up the subway. Now this y- I'm sure when you
This
probably I
is
don't know when you saw this you're like Mark's gonna throw up like because
yeah.
I hate
He's gonna.
rebar
If you hate rebarb in concrete, I can't imagine your reaction seeing it in a person.
and Cap like one of my favorite. Actually
Yeah.
I think that when I first looked at it because I moved off the page kind of quickly, it wasn't until I screenshot it when I went back that I saw that it says Cap on there. I don't think I saw it because I was like I'm
Uh,
not looking at this, and I like purposely kind of went to the next page. I was like I'm gonna keep going. So now this I don't know if you caught this. I kind of put an insert here. I had a little bit of time, but first off, they do a great job of I really like the silhouette having this black, which kind of good. It's so funny because it's kind of like the way it was with Man Without Fear, right?
mhm.
Also, the way the first season of Daredevil
Season.
went,
Yeah.
right? It's like this like black void costume in a way. But once I saw this, I was like, oh, so I thought of this.
Of
And
course.
also, so I went to my DC app, right? Paying for my
Yeah.
DC app, Lynn Varley Colors, right? So I look at this and I noticed this conversion by a Wildstorm. What are you converting? I guess they're cleaning it up, but I just think it's funny. Like
They probably went back.
page two,
Maybe they reshot it from the film.
it looks a little cleaner. It looks a little brighter, I want to say, when I'm looking at it here, which is weird because I feel like I look at this is what's in as single issues. But I think inside the app, I should actually go
You should
like
go
I
get
have
your
time for
paper.
this, right?
Yeah, right.
I
You
should go
do.
get my paper one. I should get my Dark Knight uh, reprint one. I should get my Frank Miller Batman one. I don't have an original of this. I always wanted to. I should. I recently got like a Camelot 3000, even though I've had that trade forever. That's the trade I read it, first one,
In Camelot.
Camelot
In
3000. But I ended up getting like a
Camelot.
bunch of them over 2 days, and I was like, I'm missing like 2 issues now, and I have the harder issues to get. I have the
Yeah,
last
Brian
few.
Bolland draws Morgan Le Fay like so sexy and so disgusting in that. I love it.
That's a
I
great
lo-
book. That's
it
a
is a
great,
great
great
book.
book. But I thought of this. I thought when I saw this, hearing that, I was thinking of that.
Mhm.
So I was thinking it's almost really kind of close and not
In a
exactly, but
story that
was
homages.
mouth open.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's just a total. It's an homage beyond homages. I mean, Frank Miller did Daredevil first, then Batman. This is
yeah,
Dark Knight. This is Dark Daredevil. This is Lynn Varley colors. This is him doing Lynn Varley colors. It's just it's so ridiculously perfect of a compliment to that book.
yeah. And I want to say that Electra lives again, and there's a lot of rumors around that time that Jeff Darrow it did some of that stuff. That Jeff Darrow inked some of that stuff. I'm not sure if that's true, but that makes sense. There's a rumor that Jeff Darrow inked the cover of the Wolverine trade. That makes sense because
I've heard
that's
that.
really different in how that's drawn. You
It's
know.
really yes.
And
It
then I
does.
think 3 years later did Hard Boiled. So, but yeah, I just really like his movements and just like just the full negative black. I kind of I hate that the shield's here.
Yes.
I was not happy about this. This is a little different too. I don't think I've seen any. This is very film-like, like just think about this as like a cross dissolve.
Hmm.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
wow. Um, But look at that. Look at how crazy that is. I guess that what's weird is the only page that I didn't. Oh, this is horrible. So yeah, so
Yeah.
having Punisher all strung up and I don't
The
even know.
torso of Frank. Ugh.
And what is he getting shot? Like, or is he just like a target for him and just kind of throw shit at him and stuff? It looks like he
Yeah.
has buckshot all over him in the wall. It's terrible. But I do love this. When do you think that happened? When do you think that when did the Punisher, why do we know that Punisher adores Cap? When do you think we know that?
I mean, we
I,
know
I
for a
don't think it's as
fact
late as
stories of
Fraction. I don't think it's that late. I feel like we knew that before then.
before Civil War.
Or you think that was,
Hmm.
yeah, I'll see if I can figure that out.
Civil
But
War. Civil War really brought it to our attention.
yeah, because he literally went crazy
Becomes
and
got yeah.
becomes a Punisher Cap hybrid
Punisher Cap. Was
costume.
there? I feel like.
Oh,
Did he ever?
actually, yeah, there
Was there
is
a
a
what if?
Punisher. No, no, no. There's a Punisher. There's a Claus Janson. I think it's DG Chichester. DG Chichester. I want to say it's DG Chichester, Margaret Clark, Claus Janson, four issue Prestige. I never read it, but I wonder if like part of that's in there. I don't know. I
Oh,
feel
maybe.
like it's got to be sprinkles of it have to be somewhere because it's just one of those inherent things that we know. We just know,
Yeah. It
you
just.
know,
I mean, it's just something that makes somebody goes, "Hey, he's a
or
soldier." What
he's a
is most
soldier.
soldiers
Right,
look up to Captain America,
right, right.
the ultimate soldier.
Right. Or like that he can be, and that's kind of was the straddle line of the new and they use it even further. Well, Deadpool reveres him as well. And Deadpool does, and that actually kind of spills over into the third movie, which is pretty funny. But um
Right. That's why
they
Deadpool listens to Hydra Cap.
yeah, but
Until it's Hydra Cap bidding.
yeah, they do I think the Duggan run before Hydra Cap, I feel like they sprinkled some good uh Cap love in there. Cap love.
Okay.
This was the only page I wasn't crazy about because I felt like it felt too
Scott McDanielish.
is picturey. It feels very Google image. I don't know. That's the only page. But listen, it's like 40 pages. You know. But yeah, I was surprised too when I came to this and it said and they literally talk about how he has to send this is so funny. I have to send in thumbs to get like a an approval. You do? You know what I mean? Like, is anyone approving shit at Marvel? You know what I mean? Like, or disapproving of? I don't think so. But
It's funny.
yeah,
It's Charles Soule. We've always said Charles Soule, but I heard someone call him Charles Soule the other day.
Soule. Yeah, Soul,
Soule,
Soul.
like Soule, the town I live in.
Yeah, Soul. So Soule. I don't know what he's talking about here. He's saying that he's printing. I'll print the digital pencil layout on clear print design vellum. Vellum is, uh, you know, basically like a see-through, like almost like a
Right.
plasticky page, right?
Correct. Yes.
And tape it onto the underside of the page, and then use a light box, grab the Pilot ink pen. So you talking about the regular Pilot, the Pilot Precise ink pen? Or I guess there's probably lots of Pilot ink pens, right?
Yeah. There's.
That's what I always use. I used to use the Pilot Precise because my dad would get them for work and I would steal them. And because I liked the way that it would bleed out a little bit, be a little thicker. That's where I drew a
And
lot of my sketches from.
that's how you did all your masterpieces,
I did
your markster pieces.
my marks pieces. Once the final inks are done, I pull the digital pencil layout and bin it. Take the Fabiano paper with the inks on it and scan it for coloring in Photoshop.
The sound effects on the second page, on the actual page, it's like tap, knock. The knee is
Hmm.
like crick. Like you can feel it, like he feels it. Well
Yeah,
done.
yeah. All this is yeah, just the fact that he's doing. Um, So yeah, I mean, again, this was I want it to be over. I know it sounds weird, but I was happy this kind of came out, and I didn't read this first. I don't know why. I don't know. I read a bunch of other stuff first. I read Resurrection Man first, which is weird, because that's the one I probably have least attachment to, but yeah, this was a 10 out of 10. We haven't figured out a rating system yet. This is an all struck, dumbstruck, all struck here.
It's
This
super awestruck.
this one, dumbstruck.
Yeah.
I'm dumbstruck on this one. This is the first absolute fail. I
I
wouldn't
think
say Flash is almost an absolute fail because I feel like absolute fail,
I felt
absolute fail.
absolute fail. I felt Flash was good.
Flash was
Just
good.
not it's just not Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
I
Good.
don't know why these aren't like double size or something. I'm not sure. There's not enough. There's
It's a
first off,
money thing.
there's too many. I know, but there's too many characters in this thing. Basically you have Hal Jordan with the Black Hand going on here, right?
Yeah,
Um, I don't want crying Hal Jordan. I don't want emo Hal Jordan. I also
that's not
don't
how.
know.
Yeah, that's not any Hal Jordan we know. We know this is supposed to be different. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess he's the dude with fear.
Man Without Fear.
All right.
Man Without
So
Fear. I also don't know if like this is like what's his name, Janoi, but like if I think this is he's doing everything right, pencils in color. So this is another situation, just like the last book. This is penciling colors. I think he did the cover as well. Let me jump back to the
ugh.
cover. So
Is this one
this
of the
looks like
art
it's finished, right? But
right?
this feels like actually looks like Greg Tocchini, a little bit.
Hmm.
The guy did low for the Remender stuff. But back here, it doesn't feel like it's finished. It's like kind of almost like it's very sketchbook. It's like it's not done. I also don't
I want
know, like, why are you not, if I'm the editor, right? Why aren't I
right.
getting this and blowing this up 15%? Why am I a little more to the edges?
That's true.
What am I doing here? And then when you do have it, so Janoy Lindsay, what are you doing? Or I should say Andrew Marino or Katie Cooper, what are we doing? Look, why is there so many editors? Is anyone working on this? This was the only page I thought was like pretty awesome and pretty impactful.
Yeah,
But I also think it's weird, like you're not going to have a different message. You're going to have the same billboard. That's odd. That's not normal. You know, I don't know. I mean, again, and I don't think that all of these people would be together. This is very convenient. You're gonna have Kyle Rayner and John Stewart together with the new girl who is Far Sector Girl. So, which basically Far Sector Girl is the is going to be the Green Lantern, basically, right? So,
right.
um, this is, and I don't know much about it. I only know this because I was looking at something else. This is from Dragon Ball. This is like Super Saiyan or something. Like this is like almost the exact design of that
Yes.
character. Why are you doing that?
I
Like
don't know.
it's
Evan
like
Sir has a definite look.
I don't get it. I don't get it. That doesn't make any sense. Listen, you can go far away, but go far away original. Absolute Martian Manhunter is far away from what Martian Manhunter should look like, or we don't even know what that character is really going to look like yet. But none of that was close to a Martian Manhunter design.
Hey, hey, real
You
quick,
know.
I wanted to bring up. Remember we kept talking about everyone smoking in Martian Manhunter,
Yep.
but Martian Manhunter hates fire.
Right. But we
So he
don't know
wouldn't.
what consciousness of Martian Manhunter is yet in that guy's in
Right.
John's body yet.
I just wonder if that's going to be part of it. I don't know.
Oh, maybe. Also,
Just something
yeah,
that
I
hit
mean,
me.
again, if absolute, this is my problem too. This is what the fifth book, fifth,
Right.
sixth,
Yes. Sixth.
sixth book. You put that rule in five, maybe. I don't know. Or he's just around a lot of people that are smoking. I just feel like if you're gonna have this world, I just feel like, you know, Kiss kind of like Katie Cooper, someone talk to each other, please. So I don't know. Again, blow this up a little bit, blow it up a little bit more. I don't know. And I see, and is it
Everything
Venom?
about this, it seems very anime. Like I know they have an anime style, but it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
over
yeah.
anime. Like this just seems like someone. I don't know. I feel like I read some of this.
Yeah, yeah. I do. You're right. I feel like that the action panel to panel feels very anime, feels very manga. And it got interesting here, but we don't get that. We don't get that. Listen, I'm not sure. I don't mind this, deconstructive storytelling. We call it deconstruction. Am I saying that
Yeah,
right?
deconstructive.
So, but I also don't agree with like at least this is going to get to it. It's kind of got to it in the first issue. It got to it. However, going back to I know we only read the first issue. Also, Al Ewing, all new Venom this week, number 5 reveals who Venom is in issue 5. So you had to read 4 issues not knowing who it is,
Right.
following five
And then
suspects.
it gets ruined for you everywhere online.
Right.
So
Marvel
congrats.
Marvel purposely, just like DC when Bruce Wayne and Catwoman didn't get married, just took the wind out of the sails there. Maybe you promoted it more for Marvel because people were like, what is that? Like, as the concept's kind of the worst concept. Out of the suspects, that's the worst suspect to pick. So you're going to pick Mary Jane. Why?
Hey, did you know issue 100 of Tom King's run was supposed to be the real wedding of Batman and Catwoman? That's what he was building to. But then Didio was so hard for his 5G shitty storyline. It's like, listen, Tom King, instead of building up to your wedding, I want you to build up to the new Batman. And issue 100 is going to be the launch of the new Batman. Tom King's like, I don't really want to write that. And they didn't argue it, but the answer was, I want to leave the book and do my own wedding of Batman Catwoman. And you can, and on Batman, we'll bring in Tinian to do the story I deem him to do,
Mm.
which is then, of course, 5D fall apart. Tinian gets to do whatever he wants to, which ends up skyrocketing his career.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tom King does his book gets delayed, but he doesn't get to choose his own artist, and then he changes it from the wedding of Batman and Catwoman to the weird jumping through time storyline,
Right, right.
which sadly also coincided with Cliff Chang's Catwoman book of the future,
Mhm.
and it kind of got confusing for some people. So it was kind of a weird mess of Didio should have just left shit alone,
Yeah, but
but
he can't. He doesn't.
no, he can't, and whatever. I just thought that
Yeah.
was an interesting story to
No, you're
intersect.
right. I mean, and this is also the problem I think with like DC right now because you have Green Lantern, Green Lantern Core, but you also have Green Lantern Dark or something, right? Is that a mini or
Something
that that's the Tangent who's
right.
also
That's
like don't do that. Like don't have another female Green Lantern like this other mini or what. I don't know. There's too many things, you know? And decide where you're
right.
putting Hal Jordan because
It's
the
because
last
Green
issue of Green
Lantern.
Lantern has so many core members in it. Just have that in Green Lantern Core. Just give me Green Lantern, Green Lantern. Like it
DC does
felt
this.
it's all over. It just bleeds.
It's like every time Green Lantern gets good again, they try to do too many books.
Hmm.
Like with Jeff Johns, it got too good, too many books. Especially once he
Right.
left. Once he left, it was like, hey, we can do 5 books. We can
The
do
Red
Red Lantern, Orange
Lanterns.
Lantern. We
Larfleeze gave it. Larfleeze
yes,
I think had a one shot. Maybe
yeah,
I don't know.
that was a good lunch. It was Brett Booth, Jeff
Yeah.
Johns it was good.
Brett Booth time, everybody.
So
So I don't know.
so it was kind of dumbstruck. It could have been better. Could have been a lot better.
Dumpstruck. Dumpstruck. G.I. Joe. Uh I don't like it. Just put something there. Just put the Energon symbol or something there. What is this? Come on. So G.I. Joe, Silent Missions, Beachhead, one shot, the next 5 weeks. 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, five. G.I. Joe, five. Because it'll
Okay,
be each one gets a variant of like the letter or whatever.
correct.
So this actually was funny is I don't think this looks like Phil Hester at all. This page. Everything else does. Uh and I
Yeah,
did
there's
like
something
that.
extra to it.
Yeah, and because I wasn't sure when it first was announced, I was like, I don't know who Travis Heimel is. I'm not sure who that is.
Okay.
Um, so that's fine. The but I do like the color. This was pretty perfect. I thought this was pretty perfect. And I forgot how much I really like his angles. Because let's go through our Phil Hester brain, right? Phil Hester, first time I saw him was Swamp Thing, where he was doing more of a Scott Eaton, Kim DeMuller, like that was the Millar
That
run, right?
that's starting to Mark Miller run. Yeah, right.
Yep.
Right.
And then I want to say it was the Wretch.
The
Then I saw more
Wretch.
independent stuff from him. The Wretch.
I had a comic. It was like a choose your own adventure that I think him and Andy Parks did. That I think I lent to you, and then I never saw it again. Just saying.
Oh,
Just saying. Probably sold it when you got divorced the first time. First D1, D
just threw
Day.
it out. Just threw it out probably.
You would never throw away a comic.
I would. No, W1 would.
You would not. W1. Ugh. World War Wife one. But yeah, he did
I
that.
stopped at World War II. I've
It,
had
it's
lots of what do they call it? What do they call the a couple of the recent ones? Operations or incursions or
oh yeah,
something.
yeah, something.
Yeah, th those have
An
been
incursion.
all of my side quests post all W1 to post W2. Yeah, incursion operation. Uh, yeah,
But
this the
Ultimate
Beachhead's
Team Up
badass.
got him probably the most amount of fans.
Yeah.
Doing those 2 issues with the Hulk.
Hmm.
As a book, I didn't really like Ultimate Team Up. Like I liked reading it, but I just remember thinking like every issue, like I feel like you're wasting this world on Bendis.
Oh yeah.
Like other people should have been co-creating that stuff. And when Miller came in to do Ultimates, he just did a better version of each of those characters.
Hmm.
Like they were better,
Yeah,
better Black
because
Widow,
he
better
yeah
Hulk,
better Iron Man because they had an Iron Man with
better
it, Alred, and I'm like I don't want Alred doing Iron Man.
no, and
It
Captain
didn't do
America.
anything. Right.
There was a Captain America issue planned. Did you know this? Drawn by
No.
Mike Oeming. I have actually
Oh.
a photocopy of the cover he was going to do for it. And it was going to be Oeming Bendis doing Captain America, but I think that's when I think it was going to be for like issue 10. But at that point, I think the Ultimates had started to form, and that's why they like after 10 it's like nobody else from like the Avengers was in the book. And then Mark Miller kind of got to do his own thing with Captain America, which ended up being probably the best thing to happen to Captain America since he had been brought back in the 60s.
Well, the Nick Fury in Ultimate X-Men, the first appearance of Nick Fury is not Samuel L. Jackson. You know what I mean? Like it's just a black Nick Fury. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was
Falling
just
out of
Black
a
Nick Fury.
plane
Right. That's
or an
Tom
airplane.
Rainey
Yeah. Good.
wearing he was wearing parachutes because they
Oh,
were parachutes, but they were shoes, parachutes.
very cool.
Very cool, Mark Miller.
Very cool.
So back
So
to the
yeah.
comics we
So
what
and
came
then he
out this
does
week.
Quiver, and I feel like that's where he does and then he recently did the Batman or did
Right, the Green
Batman
Arrow
Gotham
story,
City or yeah,
Quiver.
he did the Kevin Smith, which probably got him good royalties. I want to say he became more of a writer, and then most recently he did the Gotham City year one or is it year zero? Year
Yeah,
one?
the with Tom King, that was actually really good. It's a noir, which Tom King loves to write,
Yeah,
which means
I
he
never read that.
probably ripped. It's good, which means he probably ripped it off from somewhere.
He
You're
ripped it off
not
from a
gonna like it.
1940s movie.
Yes.
You're not gonna like it if you know the whatever 1940s movie he stole it from, but if you
Well,
don't, you'll love
you're
it.
you're not gonna like it because I think is it Thomas Wayne or Thomas Wayne's dad's like kind of a douchebag, and you're
Oh
like
no.
motherfucker.
No, 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 no.
I
No, no.
know you hate it. You hate it. Tom King
I
does it
hate
again.
that. Just don't do it. There's no, you're so new. No, you're like the seventh person that's going to mess with like, oh, the Waynes aren't as good as you think. Who cares? Let them be
No, the
good.
point. The point. Yeah, let them be good because they're in
That's
a
the
shitty of
point.
shit. They're in a city of shit. Let them do right by the city. The
No.
movie Batman Begins did it best. Not best, but
Yes.
he was very good at it.
I think the best element of Batman Begins, because it's not in the comics, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that he goes to kill Joe Chill and he's robbed of the revenge. He
Yes.
gets he gets killed like Jack Ruby style, like right,
Hmm.
going into the courtroom, I think he gets shot, and he has the gun, and he's conflicted and he's messy, and that's the best. That's
Yeah.
that's a better concept. So I know this guy's not the Kingpin, but I thought it's kind of funny. Like they have this
It,
like
it,
that looked very
Kingpin.
Kingpin-ish,
Yes.
but them selling, and this makes sense. Didn't they just have a refugee story in like regular A-Raw like 2 issues ago that Cranky did? Similar to this. It was like similar
Yeah.
like war. I like this little silhouette here. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun storytelling in this, and that's what you should do. Um, yeah, I really liked this. I thought this was really, really good, and I thought it just kind of hit every
Yeah.
strength that you can get.
It's like how
Uh,
can Beachhead work outside of a beach?
this, this is it.
Yes, this is
So
it.
yeah,
And
so I
maybe
think
we'll
this
get.
this will make a really cool collection too, because I feel like every artist they picked on this is really good. Because Danny, I think, is next week. Um, yeah, so I'm pretty happy with this. This was in the back of this was an ad in that. I don't know about this.
I
We
don't know about
like
this either.
Yeah, we like EJ Sue.
We like
And
EJ Sue. Kirkman's producing it on some level. And is it Benito Sereno?
yeah, I don't
He
know.
he did stuff for Kirkman early on. So did EJ Sue. Like they're
Yeah,
like
Heck Jacket. But see, this is what we like about Kirkman is that Kirkman is loyal. Kirkman keeps these people around, right?
yeah, yeah.
So what do you think Sereno did? Do you think he did something early or just
He
was in
he did he
Skybound
did
early?
early he did early event. I think he did a Funkatron early.
Oh well. Hmm.
He could draw he did cartoony characters in the back of Invincible for a while. That was one of the things he used to do.
Hmm.
Like little not anime style, but like little cartoonish of all the Invincible characters. He would write something. I'm trying to think what the heck he wrote.
See the
Because he
Josh
he
Eichhorn of the Skybound universe? Maybe? Because who's
yes.
Josh
No
Eichhorn?
no
Josh
no.
Eichhorn's just like the
He was just an art
the Eric
assistant.
Larson person.
Yeah, he was an assistant, get coffee and stuff like that. He only worked for him for like a year or two, but he's still friendly with him.
Yeah.
No, but he would do a bunch of pinups. He had his own comics. He wrote
Hmm.
Tales from the Bully Pulpit. Do you ever read that book? It's like a one shot
Hmm.
image. It's like Teddy Roosevelt and like time
Oh, I think
traveling
I know
Thomas
about it.
Edison.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So
think I
so
knew about
he's
it.
a writer. He's a writer, and he did work with who was the artist on Brit? No, Brit, not Tony. It was
Tony Moore.
no, not Tony Moore.
There was a
He
guy
did
after,
part of the
right?
Brit ongoing. He's part of the Brit ongoing series. He's a little. He actually lived with Kirkman for a while. He did the book with Eric Stevenson. It was kind of like a Beatles meet the Fantastic Four team. Eric Stevenson wrote it. Eric
Nowhere
Stevenson
Men.
wrote, yes, Nowhere Man. He drew that. Him
Simon
and
Gain, maybe.
no,
No. Okay. Well, we'll see.
Simon
Uh,
Gain drew the other book. There was two
Simon
books
Gain
that,
drew
yeah,
Dutch.
I know. Yep.
Nowhere man.
No,
I'll write it
no
down.
research people. Nowhere. Nowhere Men might have been Simon Gain, but Stevenson did two books.
Mm.
One was like I said, a Fantastic Four meets the Beatles,
Yeah, I
and
thought that was
one of them was like a, I don't know, like a guy, and I think he gathers up these super powered kids, but keeps them in like this house. It's kind of like all
Hmm.
cool, and it's very hip feeling, like Stevenson writing like a hip type character. You know. So anyway, it's cool to see this guy back, Benito Cervino. I haven't
Yeah,
seen him in
I want
years.
this. I like the hair a ton. I think that the color on the hair is like insane. And I want to see
Yeah, it
EJ
looks
Sue get
like
paid. We want our people that have been around a long time, especially been loyal to that, and we're happy that EJ Sue is getting variant cover money for his kind of like profile
yeah,
variants that he's been doing. So yeah, I was
right.
happy that I saw this. I was like, what's this? What's this? I'll take it. I
Yeah,
will take it.
his artwork, his Transformer artwork is like top notch. Like he's in the top 10 Transformer artists.
Yeah. X-Men, you read this on your break?
Yes, read this on my
And I
break.
almost, but and if you watch the news this week, the Easter egg is like I was like, and this guy showed up, and you're gonna know. Like, so I tried not to spoil. I didn't spoil it, but what I've complained about on
But
news this week.
I did start building up ideas in my head, and we'll go through the ideas as we go through the book.
Okay, now, again, the Tom Brevoort mandate is you got to be in a fucking kitchen every goddamn X-Men book. You got to be in the kitchen. You got to just hang out. Okay, I hate it. Okay, in the regular X-Men book, they got to be inside here. They're always outside on the
It's
porch or whatever, drinking coffee,
I
whatever.
just posted a picture. I'd done a Youngblood book, like a fan book back in the early 2000s. And I felt like I started every issue in a kitchen, but I just started one in the kitchen, and then I started one in like their danger room type of thing, and I started
Mhm.
one somewhere else. I'm like, all right, but I definitely have a book that starts off in a kitchen.
That's
I
fine,
don't
but
know.
you didn't do it over and over again every
No, in
issue.
fact, I made a conscious effort to not do that again. I said, all right, I did kitchen once, can't do it again.
14. It's probably I'll see. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna percentage it because I love
Okay,
math. I'm gonna go through the 14 issues and I'm gonna see how many times they were
but
in
but
a kitchen or in something.
we are happy to see Ryan Stegman back.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's solid. Again, I mean, I've gotten really accustomed to Neto Diaz, so it actually took me.
We have actually
It's
gotten very
funny,
accustomed to him.
like the way that this is more cartoony, whereas I feel like was that Juan Garan or uh Javier Garan on the Marquez book is more cartoony than Marquez.
Right,
And here, Neto Diaz or Stegman feels like he's more cartoony than the regular fill-in Neto Diaz. So it's kind of weird
right,
because this is more cartoony. It's like
yeah.
it's the opposite here.
I
Um,
can't tell you how happy I am that Beast is back to
this beast,
real
regular
Beast.
beast. Yeah,
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 any attempt to make him bad was like really shitty writing.
yeah.
He never showed anything of that personality in all his years.
No, Dark
So
Beast.
Dark Beast, different
Here you
character.
go,
That makes
buddy.
sense.
Here you
Wire.
go.
When was the last time we seen him?
I think in this, I'm pretty sure in that Alpha Flight one. Well, about 6 issues after this, he's in the 6 issues right after, right at this time.
Okay.
Do you know who created Wire?
I don't know.
Simon Furman. So that was this. This was the Simon Furman run right after Lobdell. I want to say a couple people worked on it, and then Lobdell was Lobdell, Tom Morgan, and then it was uh Tom Morgan for an issue with two Pasella. You got the Pasella
You know
uh
what's funny?
babe the that
When I
issue.
was reading this issue, I'm like, what if that baby was still alive? Because the baby had AIDS. That was a big point of the story. I
Mhm.
don't think the baby died. They just announced the baby had AIDS. They announced that North Star was gay. So I'm like, what if that baby was like one of the people they're looking for? And you
Oh, I
had that
see.
weird superhero, like who was like a Mountie, like
Yeah,
I don't know. It'd
yeah,
just be funny to bring those that Alpha Flight 106, I believe is the number, was such a high
Mhm.
selling issue. So ridiculous you
Yeah.
couldn't
I have
find
a
that.
second print of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say they went to second print on it because everyone went out and bought it. I
Yeah, it
remember
was
everyone
real
thinking like,
weird.
oh, a superhero has AIDS. I remember everyone thinking that, and then I read it. I'm like, no, North Star doesn't have AIDS. He just comes out
Right,
as gay.
right. Which is funny because like if you can slot it because it was in X-Men Alpha Flight, the Paul Smith miniseries,
Right?
where like Rogue's coming on to him. Now it was, you're like Rogue's like trying to get with him. Now I don't know. I don't even know if they talked about
What a tease
powers
move
or
on Rogue's
whatever.
part.
Yeah, I think it's mean. I think it's mean. I mean,
It's
even right
mean.
now, I think they're just spoiling they're just doing something to appease fans in that, and it's only gonna be a matter of time for her to go back to her because it's really convenient. She can conveniently touch Gambit. Come on, stupid. It's just dumb. It's just
Yeah,
it's wish
because
fulfillment from the television show. It's
by
97.
by that statement, why can't you fix Cyclops?
Right.
Cyclops can't control his vision because he got hit in the head with a rock,
Mm.
or right. So, but like every other mutant can get fixed or something, but you can't make it so he doesn't. I mean, obviously, it'd be stupid to lose the visor. That's what Cyclops is all about. That's his look.
Right.
But as a comic book, it's dumb to not be able to fix that simple problem.
This is so rendered. Look at how rendered this is. Look at how
This is great.
crazy this is.
When they first started showing his teeth and like, oh, you're not even a mutant or something, I'm like, oh, is this gonna be dog? It's gonna be dog
Oh yeah,
Logan?
yeah,
That's who I was thinking. Because Mark, you had me wondering the whole time who the hell shows up.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you accidentally told me, wait do you see who shows up or whatever.
Right, right,
You're
right.
like,
Yeah.
wow, I don't we don't want to spoil it. But then
Yeah,
you
in news this week we bitched about how we know something happens. Or I think I said something about the Minecraft movie, like, oh, and then something's gonna happen towards the middle, and you're like, oh man, now I know. Now I want to think about what's gonna happen towards the middle.
yeah. Yeah, whatever newsrama. It's so funny I say newsrama. Bleeding Cool will put up an article. Oh man, so and so shows up this week. I'm like,
So and
oh,
so
now I'm going to be
dies, so and
expecting someone
so
to show up.
finale will have this, and I'm like, so it's just a mess.
Yeah,
You can, because even the reveal, like even the reveal where they were saying you're not going to know. I mean, they solicited basically when they did all new Venom. They're like, you're going to have 5 issues where no one's going to know who it is, so keep buying it. I'm like, why? I'm going to buy 5 issues of something, five
yeah.
issues.
I'm gonna go back and reread one to see if there's one single clue that it's Mary Jane.
I don't. I highly doubt it. Yeah, it's things aren't plotted correctly. Wasn't there someone that was it Long Halloween? Didn't someone figure out holiday pretty early or something? And they wrote in. I think there was something, or they wrote into like Wizard or something like that. It was like it's this because this. I
Right.
think I thought Loeb talked about it later. Like, damn it, you know what I mean? But like, at least you have to pepper in some things. Like I feel
Yes.
like I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like now because everything is available online, like you can just say that it is for this motivation or one motivation or another. But when you watch, I mean, listen, I've watched enough procedurals when someone shows up, I'm like, oh, Steve Gutenberg did it. You know what I mean? Like Steve Gutenberg shows up, you're
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh well,
Yeah. The minute there's an actor who shows up
right,
of renowned, I'm like, oh look,
right.
Matt Salinger showed up on an episode of Law and Order. I'm like, oh, Matt
There you go.
Salinger, Captain
Captain
America.
America did
He definitely did it.
it. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I guess what's funny is that like this is making me nostalgic, not for that, maybe a little bit for that. I like that Alpha Flight run quite a bit. I read it pretty much that from that 106 on, and I didn't
Picture
and I
Mike
didn't
Mark.
and I didn't really go back any further um after that. I think I looked at stuff. I know that because Mignola did some work and then Jim Lee did some work. Jim Lee did like 10 issues, but I
Right.
never really read a lot of that. I always wanted to get the first like 12 to 24. They're always dollar bins. I never
Yes.
did though. I got one. I got a handful of them. And I think a lot of people bitch about that Snowblind issue because it's basically an issue where it's just words for like
Yeah.
six or 7 pages. That's fine. That's fine. Again, anyway, I love this sign, but I feel like when I see her, by the way she's drawn, I just want to read that Bacalo run. Am I saying that right? Did I say it right?
But nope. It's Picello.
I'm still saying it wrong. I'm very
That's fine.
consistent in my
In
so
your
here
wrongness.
I would say that I'm still awestruck with this. Look, now we're back in there. Look, food here.
Well, he's a chef. So if you're going
Kiss
to
the cook with
reference
the
glob,
X's.
yeah,
Is that added on or can you order this? Can I order that?
it's on Etsy right now.
It might be on Etsy. It might be on Etsy. I was thinking about there's a lot of Severance stuff on Etsy that you can buy right now. I would like to get the painting from season 2 finale.
Yeah,
Put that painting right here. I put that painting right there.
that's right.
You know, the Mark S victory painting, basically. What an insane
That's
finale.
right.
So so I would say X-Men All-Struck, I would say Resurrection Man also All-Struck. I don't like that this is cover A. You're
No,
gonna
it's I don't like it. I
nah.
don't ever like this style of art.
Yeah, this
Sorry.
is Jeff DeCal, which is he's good, but I just don't want it. And
I
especially if you're
prefer
gonna
this for the
do
cover.
yeah, this would have been fine. I mean, I think apparently they are doing some Butch Guice in the next issue, next issue, next issue. So I feel like he's getting a page or two. He was the
This
original
feels
artist. We feel like
I
we've read Resurrection Man 1 from the first
and one
series in 2000 or 99 ish, and that's it.
I read one and I read
1
1
million.
million. Yeah,
I don't think I read 1 million, but yeah. So I mean, you
I
get
read
just enough to know this.
I read
I
every
actually
1
read
million.
text here, which I normally don't read text, but luckily Bray broke it up for me a little bit because I'm a baby, right? Thank you. Put these little spaces here, so it didn't feel as intimidating. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Um, but yeah, this I don't know how Ramvi picks his people. They're all very similar. Evan Cagle doing um, Felipe Andrade, Evan Cagle on New Gods. And Dawn Runner. What was it? Layla Starr. That's Felipe Andrade. I feel like he picks like almost the same type-ish people. He did Mike Perkins with Swamp Thing, so it's neat. This is a little thinner. It's actually remind me of Peter Kowalski a little bit, um, but really good. This is a little bit more cartoony here, but I love this symbol. I think it's real good. I don't know if that's the symbol from the original series or not,
Yeah, I
but
don't
I
know.
really like the way that looks. And I guess in here, I don't even know if I noticed this. So you have some of I guess, um, the first series there. So, but really, really good mechanics, really good, wonderful art. Look at how insane that is. That's really insane. He was just Ramvi and Al Ewing. Speaking of that, the books we're reading this week is they and Dave Gibbons. Ramvi and Al Ewing did a in London. They opened the Forbidden Worlds in Camden. Good
Right.
Camden. That's a good
Not
Camden, right?
Whoa. You're calling our Camden bad just because at one point it was the murder capital of the United States?
Yeah, I would say that would be the reason. Yeah, I think that's the reason exactly.
Camden is a small Camden, New Jersey is a city near us. It's across the Delaware from Philadelphia.
Mm,
I feel like those are always like the worst cities. Like Philadelphia, and then you have the murder city across the
right.
bay.
Yeah,
You have like New
Bloodhaven.
York City, and then you have like Newark across the way.
Right, right, right.
That's right. And when you got Gotham, you got Bloodhaven. And then Batman v Superman, they tried to change it to Gotham is the shadow of Metropolis. Maybe it's
Ah,
just the Gotham in me.
ugh. I don't even know if I remember that. I think I blocked it out of my memory. The only thing
That's a
I like
bit.
about the Superman Batman movie is the Jimmy Kimmel sketch, where they're in the museum, like they're in the museum opening, and Jimmy keeps walking over. He's like, "He's Superman, like he's a Superman right here." I just think it's such a good casual
Yeah.
like way that he is in that for some reason. And then I think he gives Ben Affleck a camera, and he's like, "Okay, free say cheese," like, and he does the Batman voice. I don't know. It was a lot of fun. That's it. But other than that, everything is annoying in that movie, especially Doomsday. So there we go. So we get a little bit of preview art of the Jackson Butch guys.
Love it.
Jackson Butch guys. Why? Like, can we get in? It's whatever he feels like. Whatever he feels like doing.
Yeah.
Whatever he feels like doing.
What
Yep.
a great picture of like 1998. I don't
Electric
know.
Superman, please. Yes. Yes.
Kyle
Yes.
Rayner,
Yes.
yeah,
Kyle
it's
Rayner.
perfect.
Great. Yeah. So again,
Wally West
happy.
Flash,
Yeah,
proper
I'm happy.
costume.
Yeah,
That's
and
a really nice cover.
here's your Panosian. And
Whew.
actually, I wonder if Panosian like looked at the art inside, because I feel like it's looser Panosian than it's almost like a Franco Villa Panosian, right?
Pan Ocean. That's the way he said to say it.
Panosian, Pan
No,
Ocean. I ain't saying
Pan
that.
Ocean. It's the Pan Ocean.
There's a Butch Geist, Mike Spicer. Oh, I'm not sure who colored this. And I think there's the cover A of the next one. No, thank you, Jeff
Yeah, it's kind
Decal.
of boring.
It's like not done. It's not done. Come on, man. The Google image that and shit. No, no. Anyway, still, I awestruck it here. As a
Yeah,
Superman, awestruck, very awestruck.
yeah.
Um,
I will
Villain,
definitely agree with that.
Carmine DiGiomenico, which if you're going to do a villain, it's in the same vein. He does typically kind of adopt the last person. He does that, and I think that's good. He did it on Flash when he followed up Howard Porter.
Right.
I talked about it earlier, that either here or in the news, he did the Battling Jack Murdoch mini, which is a great.
It
Who
is
wrote
good.
that? God, I can't remember who wrote that.
Is it Zeb Wells?
Yes, that's right. Yep, you're right. You're right. Zeb Wells had some good like year one, because didn't Zeb Wells do the Doc Ock with Kara
Yeah,
Andrews?
that was
That
fantastic
was good
too.
too. Yeah, so I feel like Zeb Wells be in that little corner and stay there and stay there. So this was harrowing. This was really terrible because again, we don't know. Listen, we feel
Yeah.
if you watch Superman the movie, it's just a baby floating around learning stuff,
Yeah.
not upset, getting fed. I imagine. You know, Here I don't know
No,
if he's basically being told to be
he's
fed,
he's
and he's
getting some sort of slurry, of like
protein
protein
slurry. You know
nutrients.
what that is? It's probably his own urine. You know what I mean? He's
Oh
Fight
yeah,
Clubbing it.
he's Fight Club, and he is eating his own
Wow.
shit.
Wow.
But he's going insane. He's in there for months, years.
17
No, you know what
months,
I mean?
14 days. Blah.
You
Yeah.
know, not enough room to walk around. Really? Like
Yeah,
thinking
it's not.
everyone you
Yeah.
know, your world's dead, everyone's dead, kids are dead, your parents are dead,
Listen,
your
I get
dog's
leg
dead.
cramps like a lot. And I don't move as much as I should, but I get leg cramps like
You better start moving, dude. You get some blood
I'm
clots at your
not
old
doing
age.
nothing. Not doing nothing. I should. Anyway, yeah. So, but I feel like the coloring's doing a lot of lifting on this too. This was the
Mhm.
only page that stunted me a little bit. I feel like Jason Aaron does this from time to time, and I don't know. This feels very amateurish to me. There's so much going on in this page. This could have been over two
Yeah.
pages, or you cut half these words. You cut half them.
This
This
mark,
almost shuts me down.
this mark is the first time I will ever agree with you ever. No,
Ever.
no, I agree with you. Like you've always had the statement of this all doesn't feel like one world. And I always
Hmm.
go, Mark, everything's taking place in different parts of the world. Okay. But the Lazarus is so specific to this book and
Hmm.
the way they're hindering their farm growth in this. I'm like, no, Lazarus is much bigger than just a military operation. Here, it's just something bigger.
Right.
It's almost they're worldwide. So that should be something referenced in all the books. I feel like the Lazarus program, the Peacemakers, whatever there's going on. I feel like that should be a bigger presence in
Yeah,
the other books.
it could be what Barry Allen's working on. It could be Barry Allen could be part of Lazarus. Like
Could be,
they need to,
and that might
and then
open
someone could
up.
be smoking here. Somebody should be smoking. You know, this is a bad world. You got to have maybe have them as smokers. If that again, that's I guess that's completely singular to that book. It just seems weird to me. Throw that
Yeah,
stuff in there. You're right. I don't know. I don't know.
I
But
don't.
I feel like when I go page to page, the pacing of it, like I think that listen, Resurrection Man was a little exposition heavy. That's Ram V. That's his gig, right?
But also, we don't.
But
I don't know anything about Resurrection Man,
but
so it's
I
fine.
felt like I wasn't being like preached
I need
to.
you
But
need
also
Basil exposition.
Basil exposition. I never understood that at first when and then I finally got it. It was really funny. That's
Yeah.
Michael York who is in Logan's Run, right? Is that Logan's
Yes.
Run guy?
Yep. Good job,
I did it. Logan's Run, number one, penciled by who?
George Perez.
Marvel. Yes, very good. Look at this. This is how our brains work, everyone. Who
Yeah.
almost did a Logan's Run revamp after uh, a Marvel
Was it
movie?
gonna be Brian Singer?
Ryan Singer, correct. We can just do
Yay.
trivia on our own
Just
stuff. Trivia on their own thing. Um, but listen, I mean, how many times have we seen
remember Brian Singer
this?
was gonna write Ultimate X-Men for a storyline or two.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Him and
No,
his
thank you.
co-writers. They kept putting it
Whoopsie,
off. Yeah.
whoopsie. That's okay.
Whoopsie. That's fine. We're happy it didn't happen.
Yep, yep. Um,
Um,
this gives more. Does she say? Does Ma Kent say something about that the ship went into him? I think that's interesting. And the ship
yeah,
shuts down,
the ship shuts down. The
basically.
ship's gone. You're almost amazed. Like that almost could have been three double page spreads in a row.
Yeah.
Like those last three panels on that last page. And he just decides to use
Oh,
it on one
yeah.
page. I'm fine either way. Yeah, think
Oh, you're
about
right.
that. Double
Yeah.
page spread of like a rocket crash on a field. Double page spread of him coming up with his wings spread. Like they're just amazing drawings that, they're really important. But they're like, no,
Yeah.
let's keep it to one page. And it's fine. It's a fine decision.
Well, I feel like the star of this book is the colorist. I feel like that's who's doing it. I feel like because it's melding the Rafa Sandoval. Like I know Rafa Sandoval is working on it, but as it Matthias Lopez, I'm trying to remember who's doing the coloring. But like just all of this through. This was the only page I thought was a little rough. Is I didn't know exactly what's happening in here. I didn't know what was going on here. I didn't know if something was coming in, something going out. So I feel like there should have been a
Yeah,
drawing of
yeah.
some sort of him flying out or like this to this to this. I don't know what's happening. And it wasn't until basically this of him running and explaining where he is. So good, proper use and everything like that. And the good look, it's got to slow down when you got that. That's was that every movie in the 90s you got a guy going through touching the wheat. Got a Ridley Scott shot really
It's
slow.
yeah.
Gladiator
I mean,
shot.
yeah, it's true. I mean, Zack Snyder did it in the Superman movies.
We love it. It's our favorite thing.
The wheat.
The wheat. Man, the Man of Steel could have been better. I really wish it was better.
It could have been better.
I wish it was as good as the trailer. Trailer was really good. Trailer's really good. I do like Yellowstone in that Kevin Costner. Yellowstone. Uh,
Zack Snyder is probably like the one of the best trailer. I don't know if he helps
Trailer
edit
makers.
his own trailers, but they're great. The Justice League trailer is great. The Batman v Superman trailer, not the teaser. The teaser sucked because it came out like a week or two after the first Star Wars movie.
Oh, right,
But
right, right,
like
right.
we were so enthralled with Millennium Falcon, he couldn't do anything. But he waited an extra couple weeks, put together a real Batman v Superman trailer, and it looked incredible. I was so disappointed by the movie, and I don't hate the movie. I like it, but like that trailer was so good. His Watchmen trailer is incredible.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You should just do that. Just do that.
Did you?
That's it. So,
Yeah.
do we want? Yeah, but do we want
What'd you say?
the Ra's al Ghul here?
Yeah. It was awesome. I saw it in the theater. The whole 4 minutes with the dog jumping on and stuff.
You're talking about the Minecraft? I saw
Yeah,
Minecraft. Hmm.
that's awesome. Yeah, I didn't know they put that whole 4 minute
They were supposed to
thing in.
leave it exclusively for a week. That's why a lot of people were like, "Oh, I want to go see Minecraft," and then they didn't. For whatever reason, they pulled it and put
Yeah.
it up online. I'm not sure what the decision was there, because that's the
All
way it
right.
was for what, episode one?
Oh yeah, they put it in front of that Will Smith movie.
Hancock?
No.
Not really.
Yeah. No, the Enemy of the State, Gene Hackman.
Oh, right, right, right. So that got
They
like
put
an
it.
artificial inflation.
It did.
That's so goofy.
That's not a bad movie. Um,
It's fine.
Kevin Smith's in it.
Was he like a hacker or something?
Yes, he is. Yes,
Yeah,
and I
that's
feel
the
like
easiest way to do it.
it's exactly what he is. And I think he plays like the almost the same character, isn't he? In like one of
He's
the
in
Die
Die
Hard
Hard.
movies.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
plays the same character.
same
Is he
character.
in Daredevil?
Yeah, he's Dr.
He's a
Kirby.
Mork, Dr. Kirby.
I'm like, why
That's
wouldn't
so
you be
good.
Dr. Wood or Dr. Like I was like, why would you have Jack Kirby? What did he design Daredevil? I always that's
Dr. Colin. I guess Dr. Colin really wouldn't sound that good.
Dr. Everett, right?
Dr. Miller, Dr. Everett, Dr. Colin,
Well, Miller was
Dr.
in it, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Miller got killed.
that's right.
He was the first death. He was the
He
first
was he Frank Miller wrote a short story about that and put it in Dark Horse Maverick, which isn't available
oh,
digitally.
what was Dark Horse Maverick? That was what it
It
was
was a
like Dark Horse
little square
Presents.
bound. It was a little square bound. They did a series of small square
Mm,
bound comics with new stories by Miller, Powell, Serge Aragonés.
it's not going in my
Yeah,
brain. Don't
no,
know.
all right.
Don't know. But do we want, so what I was asking,
Oh,
bros,
Hell, Mig Mignola and Millionaire both had stories and stuff like that.
I think I kind of I may remember it a little bit.
Maverick was one of them. I think there was like 3 or 4 of them that had different names, in addition to like the ghost ones too. The Ghosts and Monsters.
Oh, I see. Right, right, right.
It
Yeah.
was similar to that.
Okay. Are
But the
we
Frank Miller story
okay?
starts off with the drawing of Frank Miller with the pen in his head.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
gotta find out.
yeah,
Are we okay with Rachel Gold being over here? It's okay.
yeah, because it's the absolute universe, and you're allowed to do this.
No.
I was I was shocked.
I said no, and Bear, my dog, looked at me. He's like, "It's okay, buddy. You're okay.
Not you, Bear. Go back to eating
Not
your
you,
birthday
buddy."
cake.
He has his birthday cake for breakfast. For breakfast, right, buddy?
Bear's a
Oh,
big
I'm
fat
sorry.
dog.
Oh no, he's fine. He's just big
He's
boned.
big.
Um,
He's big boned.
he's big bone. So JSA six, I'm gonna go right in the middle. We need to have a middle one. This was a comic book that came out. I think it was fine. It felt like the end of the storyline a little bit, but I don't
You
know.
felt like it was going to be the end of a storyline, but it's
Yeah, it's not. Well, I knew something was going to kind of go wrong from this because I'm feeling like I'm getting a lot of
yes.
Wildcat love. So you get a
Hmm.
lot of Wildcat love, so you can get punched in the gut a little bit later on. Wildcat gets gutted. There we go. Where is it? There it is.
Oof.
Schluck.
Spoilers.
Schluck.
Although
Spoilers.
Hawkman got stabbed through the same way, didn't he? Like 2 issues ago.
Listen, if this was a Lucasfilm property, this is what you do. You know, you just get stabbed right through. That was in Ahsoka, right? Then just stab it right through. Boom. I want to
Right.
say, and you're fine in 2 days. You just lay down. In 2 days, you're fine. So, not sure if they're going to do that here because they do, they do like a space.
Are you
Like
watching
he's
Daredevil?
gone. Mm.
No. Have you watched any of it?
I watched the first one.
All
It's
right.
not for lack of trying. It is for lack of trying, I guess. That's a funny statement. It's not for
It's a
it
shitty
is
phrase.
exactly a lack of trying.
Yeah.
It's exactly lack of trying. It's not for lack of trying. No, it's exactly lack of trying.
That's
You know,
exactly it.
but I think that's, it just depends. the way my brain works is like something will have to kind of take be into something, and I'll take it over that, I'll take it over that, I'll take it over, and then I'm like six deep, I'm took over, right? So like now, what did we talk about earlier? I'm obsessed with the Roy Thomas comics that he worked on in between, I guess Marvel losing Conan, right? And then
Yeah.
he did a series in Dark Horse, which he bought his own license, and then Cross Plains Comics did the Red Sonja with Steve Lytle. You know what I
I
mean?
never
Like there was a
I never
Robert E.
read
Howard storyteller as
I
well.
never read Anthem, and I always wanted to. That's his like his own Golden Age superhero team.
Oh, I don't know.
I think he self-published it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because he was so good with the Invaders and so good with the Justice Society, All-Star Squadron. Like he created his own Anthem, I think it was called.
Hmm.
Yeah,
You know, I have so many. Okay, so as much as I dislike old Roy Thomas, right?
right.
Uh, not
And
old
as much as
as in writing. I just mean as old man Roy Thomas, who now
Old Man Roy Thomas, who's
he decided he created Wolverine.
yeah,
Okay,
we don't love that,
we don't love it.
but we
Where you
love
can pull
old.
audio clips, you can pull print interviews in his own magazine talking about his contribution for Wolverine. So he's contradicting his own self.
Yes,
So
that's
what I
okay.
mean by that, old man. So my brain. So let's talk about which. So you're Roy Thomas, you're Avengers, Buscema,
Hmm.
right? You're who did who drew his FF run? Rich Buckler,
Maybe
maybe Keith
was it?
Pollard,
It wasn't Rich Buckler Jr.
not Rich Buckler Jr. If that's a real person or not, I'm not, and we're not exactly sure. Um, Roy Thomas, DC Roy Thomas, which is All-Star Squadron,
Right? Which we love.
Infinity Incorporated, with Dan
That might be my favorite stuff.
DANN, which I believe DANN Thomas was one of the when they had conventions back then. I guess it was just a free love situation, right? So you had Frank Thorne,
Right?
and then you had Wendy Pini dressed up as Red Sonja. They had Red Sonja lookalike contests at
Yeah.
conventions, but Dan Thomas apparently, I think there's a Roy Thomas Conan picture somewhere, which I need to see if I can find. Skinny Roy Thomas, scary skinny Roy Thomas, who's House Roy, who is
Ooh,
who
House Roy.
is Jack Kirby's you know, he was basically like this like sad uh sniveling assistant to Funky Flashman, which was the Stanley, which I totally agree with, by the way, because I remember, you know, if you show the picture of Stanley and Jack Kirby kind of like at a table and they're kind of like cozy, you know, they're like buddied up, right? You
Yeah.
know that picture.
Yes.
And he's bald.
Yep.
If you told me that was 20 years after you see 70s like naked Stanley, right?
Yeah. Right.
Right? Like which is like a Burt Reynolds like hairy naked Stanley. You would if you flip the two and say, okay, this is 50-year-old and this is like 26-year-old Stanley looked old, very old,
Yes.
weird. So he went backwards. So it's funny that he gets all hairy and hair implants and whatever they did, plugs, I guess. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, just like where we put Roy Thomas. So Roy
Yeah.
Thomas. So even though 3 weeks ago the Savage Sword, so like Conan Roy Thomas is like totally a different thing for me. Um, did Roy Thomas work on Star Wars? Was he the Star Wars scripter?
Well, he's the one who got the. He pushed it. He
He pushed
pushed
the
it on
license. He got
Stan
the
to do it.
license.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, if it wasn't for him getting Conan, I feel like that whole thing that helped get Thongor, get the Thongor,
Oh
right?
yeah. That was important. That was the important one.
The important one was Thongor. Well, they thought that that was the thing is that he had to pay. Believe he paid Roy Thomas. If I have the story right, he had to pay out of his own pocket for a little while because he only had a budget to pay every time they publish a Conan book, $150 to Conan licensee, blah blah blah
Right.
blah.
Right. And they
And then
wanted
they wanted
200.
200. So he wrote a check for an extra 50 for a while, which is really funny. I don't know when it turned over, but you know. Anyway, so Roy Thomas, but I don't know what we're talking about anymore. I lost it. Lost the thread.
Back to JSA.
Now, who is this? Is this I'm confused if this
Is
is
this?
Obsidian or not,
I don't
or it's
think it
not.
is. I think it's
Right.
not supposed to be Obsidian because he's Not that Obsidian's character was ever really fleshed out that great to begin with,
Right.
but I
More.
think this is still not Obsidian.
Right. Right. Because the sister's yelling at him. He's not exactly responding the right
Right.
way. So I guess that's a tell right there. That's a tell. Uh, Diego, and this is 6 issues in a row.
Hmm.
I
Uh,
don't know if Joey
no,
Vasquez
he
did
didn't do
anything.
one,
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
but it
And it
looked
was
just
like
like him.
yeah, it was the guy. It was like a Roger Cruz. It was a Roger Cruz to a Diego Ola to Ryugi. Roger Cruz.
We
So
love. I would love a Roger Cruz villain. I love Roger
yeah,
Cruz.
that's fine with me. That's fine with me. Um, so we'll see. That's all. It was a pretty light week. That's all I got here. We didn't, we were busy this week, so we need to, do a little catch up. I'm not even sure what's next week. Um, what's your rabbit hole stuff this week? What are you going into? You looking at anything specific? You're selling some
Well,
young bloods?
still have some young bloods. Uh, so I'm kind of looking at them again, getting ready for the launch, the relaunch of the new book. I caught up on my Jeremy Adams Green Lanterns,
Oh, okay.
so I'm
Mhm.
very happy with that. He dared me to read all of his books. He
Right.
dared me to
Double
purchase all of
dog.
his comics. What a strong dare!
Wow.
He's like, "I'll win you over." I'm like, "You did, and you got my money for it." So,
Yeah.
Jeremy Adams, I salute you. Good job with Green Lantern.
What do we want Jeremy Adams to do? Legion, right? We want
Legion.
him to
Yeah, well,
potentially
Jeremy
do
Adams.
Legion, or
It's
maybe
good.
have
It's a good
like a
choice.
very you know, Bear, get down.
Yeah,
Just
because I don't mind seeing Wade try to reinvent it. He's very great at reinventing things right now. I don't know if I want to see him write it. Like, let's focus on keeping Justice League
right.
and whatever Superman projects you have going strong. Keep them strong. But Jeremy Adams is what's he writing? He's got Aquaman, Green Lantern, co-writing Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah. But I feel
He's
like
no
he's
longer
not I don't feel like he's touching Green Lantern Corps as heavy because I felt like there's a lot of mess in that first issue. There's a lot of talking, which I don't feel
is
is
that,
the way. I
is that
felt like
all
it
he's
was that
doing?
co-writer.
He's not doing Flash Gordon anymore.
Yeah.
Is that it? Just those 2.5 books
I think
then?
that's it. Yeah.
All right, then yeah, then he can fit a Legion in.
Didn't Wade have a title like this when he was working with Morrison when they were going to do Hyper Time? Didn't he have like an executive like story consultant, editor, blah blah blah?
Possibly.
And then I think he got kicked out or did Dio get in there and they didn't like each other. So
Maybe they're two both quote unquote comic book alphas, whatever that means.
the two bald old men,
Yes.
comic book alphas. Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, listen, I mean the stories, but I feel like I mean, I don't know. It's tough to say. I mean, I wouldn't not want, Didio in that timeline where he pushed for Identity Crisis and what comes after Identity Crisis, what comes after that. I feel there's a lot of good stories lines inside of that. But
Listen, man,
then
everyone's got great ideas and shit ideas.
mm,
Shooter fixed the Marvel universe. There might not be a Marvel Comics day without Shooter, but
right.
also he almost relaunched the entire line with number ones in the mid 80s because DC did.
Mm.
That would have been horrible. What a
Luckily,
horrible
he gave
mistake that
us
would have been.
new universe.
Well, that's what they gave him in lieu of not rebooting the Marvel universe.
Yeah. It's
So
funny, he did new universe and then and that failed and he's like, I'm just going to do that over and over again.
he
I'm
gave
just
us
going to
other,
get
he just, yeah, the Valiant universe is very reminiscent of the new universe in feel.
right. I'm going to get Don Perlin. I'm going to get like it's just funny. Bob Layton. I'm going to get, actually Bob Layton, I don't think he did it. There was a couple, actually, what's funny is you can go back to the Marvel age and look at the early new universe stuff. And I want to say other better people were kind of attached to some stuff. I want to say Leonardi was Nightmask. I feel like
He
there were,
had money. He had
I feel
money at
like
first.
there were more
Oh,
people attached to that and it kind of fell apart, you know.
I've been sitting in the dark the whole time.
I know I was going to say, you're like, you're in like Batman. This one,
That's fine. Listen, people aren't looking at me. They're looking at the comics. So
they're looking at you, buddy. They're looking at
me,
you.
baby, me.
Me, baby, me. Always record. Always record.
Always be recording.
ABR.
Are you
ABR.
recording?
I hope so. Yeah, we're talking.
All right. So
Oh,
let's wrap it up real fast. You might as well show. Can you screen share the stuff I sent you in chat?
uh,
Not the personal stuff, wink.
am I screen sharing? You seeing this?
Yeah. That this is like I said, I did a Youngblood fan comic me and Brian Milligan years ago. And look at this. We're starting off in the kitchen. Everyone's eating. This is the Alan Moore, Steve Gross version of Youngblood. And that email is no longer my email.
Hey,
Look at that. At webtv.net.
Web TV. Oh yeah, remember we were at us at Legend. That was our shit.
Yeah, you, me, Brian, Ron, Walt.
Ron started
We
it. I
all
want to say
got,
Ron started it. It
yeah,
was like a
Ron got
hundred
WebTV.
bucks.
Yeah, you can get online because I couldn't afford a computer.
Yeah, Web
I
TV
was
literally was a box that you could, connect to your TV, and we would have our favorites, and we would go to Newsarama, I guess, right? Comic book
Yeah,
resources. We'd
probably
have the
probably
same.
ain't it cool?
Ain't it cool? Yeah, those were pretty much
That's
the
when
main
Rich
lines.
Johnson would do bleeding, lying in the gutters.
Yeah. Now, would you say is this a Jersey hoagie here,
That is definitely a Jersey hoagie.
or would
What
that
we're
be a
doing
cheesesteak?
is
Yeah, it's a Jersey
it's
hoagie.
a hoagie because we were making fun of a Carl Kessel, Stuart Immonen Fantastic Four annual, where things like starts off the story eating hoagie and he never gets to eat it. Like, but at the end of this comic strip, we have like Johnny Panic like
Oh,
chomping into the hoagie, like he finally gets to eat it after the adventure's over. And it's just such a stupid panel. He's just like chomp. We just wanted to put in the
no,
big
that's right.
words chomp.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's
Um,
funny because like I do remember that. That was things on the cover of that too, right? The Stuart
yes.
Eminem
Yeah.
annual.
Yep.
Uh,
So I just thought it was funny in a kitchen. I should make all these comics available at some point online somewhere.
it's continuity.
Maybe you know what? It really fits in perfectly with. I don't.
It's
You
Supreme 46.
do you have these? Oh, you know
I
what? They're in the extreme folder. So
I was this in Youngblood bootleg or no?
yes, I also yeah, that's right. I did collect
Okay.
all my
I do
short
have
stories.
Youngblood bootleg. I have a paper copy, a real copy.
A real copy Youngblood. They're not easy to come by.
Real copy. Let me see
Somebody
here.
was trying to sell one of the original printings, which is magazine size. See, this is magazine size. That's why there's so many panels. Like
Oh, I see.
I'm like, well, it's magazine size. We can do a little better. This is neat. This is a Dave DeVries print I got from him.
Mm,
Dave DeVries.
sure.
He,
98.
yeah, you know what's cool about this? This was for a promotional thing for Universal Park. We were talking about Universal Islands of Adventure the
Right.
other week, and I know I had this somewhere, so I wanted to share it with you because it's not quite the Sinister Six because they didn't have rights to use Sandman or Green Goblin or Venom. So we got Hydra Man, Hobgoblin, and Shriek, Scream.
Yeah. Shriek. Shriek.
Doc Ock, that's the Mark Bagley design that was popular at the
Oh,
time,
I
and just
see.
straight up classic Electro.
Dave did did he do like the masterpieces?
Yeah, he did some Marvel Masterpiece stuff. He did a couple comics. I kind of forget. He did something for Top Cow once. Or no, he had his own character named Black Anvil, and he told me about it. I'm like, oh, there's a Black Anvil in Codename Strike Force, but like, and he's like, he looked at me like, okay. I'm like, oh, that's right. Who the fuck cares? It's Codename Strike Force.
Right, right.
Dave DeVries was not
But if you remember, Codename Strike Force, they were supposed to have a Black Anvil ongoing
there.
series.
You're right. You're right. And we never got it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. We got a not a pay. I think we got like a cover or something, or something. There was something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really need to do like a like a lost projects type of situation.
I
How
always
do we
wanted to
start
know
that though? Like year by year, or like how does
that
was that Image
probably
Zero? Was Image Zero the Silvestri codename Strike File Zero? Basically, because it's Striker getting like
right.
as a
Striker
Striker
getting,
origin.
yes.
But
Yes.
it
That's
said
in
like
Image
to be
Zero.
continued in like codename Strike Force. It wasn't saying like go to see because it was basically, you know, Cyberforce
You know
origin.
what's weird is Jim Lee does like a Stormwatch story in that instead of like a Wildcat story.
That's right. Yeah. You got these guys doing their
Liefeld
side projects.
Liefeld doing a troll story, which literally led into Youngblood #6,
Right. Right.
inked by R.T. Bear. Larson's story is the best because it perfectly fits in between the end of the Savage Dragon miniseries and the
Right.
ongoing
Right. Right.
series.
And it's important.
Shadowhawk is just a regular Shadowhawk story. Good, shows who the character is, fine. And then
They have Chance
four
Wolf by
pinups
there.
from
Chance
McFarlane.
Wolf, which he eventually has to use all those characters. Blood, Sweat, Tears.
Tears was not in it.
Tears was not in it. That's what we were talking about recently.
Yeah, see, that's another McFarlane character. Tears, blood, sweat, and tears. Blood becomes Tremor.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Sweat looks like James Hetfield with like
Yes.
pink bubble powers. He never uses him. There's a weird character named Blotch he never uses, kind of like his
Lodge is like
Jabba
an
the Hutt
alien.
Mojo
Yeah.
looking
Right, right,
thing.
right. Yeah. Because you got
And
like a
then
metal base or something, right? And like not legs.
yes, yes. And then the Fiend, who used the Fiend. Fiend showed up in a great Alan Moore issue. He actually got Alan Moore to introduce the Fiend, like issue 31, 32.
Oh, that's right. I was talking to
Yeah,
someone about Spawn issues, like, because I was looking through something, and he was saying we were talking about print runs, and he's like, you know what's really hard? He's like, anyone getting like a Spawn run, because when they went down, like, he's like, so he says he gets Spawns around that, and he puts them up for $10 a piece, like on eBay, and he gets $10 a piece.
yeah.
Gets for like
The,
a
it's
dollar
the it's I think it's the 220s. I think
because
it's
they
around the
went down to
220s.
like 40,000, 30, 40,000. So I mean, at least McFarlane figured out a way by publishing a stupid amount of books. I think it's so insane that how many issues they are right now. It's like King Spawn 46 or something. Like what? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think I couldn't even get through the first one, and I'm like, oh
they're
my
rough.
God.
But listen, man, I'm happy for Spawn fans to get all this stuff. Like,
I
I
don't.
like
They got to
like
still be around because they're buying it. You
they're
know
buying it. I like the Violator miniseries a lot.
who finished that? Did Kowalski come back? I thought it was a weird
Hmm.
choice. I thought it was a weird choice that like
To
it
do
was.
a different artist every issue.
Yeah, I thought it was a
Yeah,
little odd. I thought it was a little
I
odd.
think I think you should have hired Bart Sears or Andy Smith to do an issue.
Yeah, what are they doing? You know?
I don't know what they're
Yeah,
doing.
I think it's just a weird. I just think it's a weird. It was a weird like lineup. I would have preferred it to be either all Kyle
And
Hotz. I mean, I just would have went all
ah,
Kyle Hotz really. That's what it
please,
would have been.
I would have loved Kyle Hotz. You know what? Hire Kelly Jones. Give me a Kelly Jones, Kyle Hotz. Just keep going back and forth.
Oh, I just got a Venom the Madness #3 yesterday
Oh,
for a
nice.
dollar. I had #1 forever. I think I had, and then I never had the whole series ever,
You know who?
ever.
You know who was an early Hotz inker who actually was friends with Hotz, and that's how he started his career.
Eric Powell.
Good job.
Eric Powell inked his Hulk issues, the
And
Paul
the Hood.
Jenkins, and the Hood. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah,
The Hood, who is going to
yeah,
be in Ironheart, right?
yay. That's where he belongs.
Hmm.
Like, why wouldn't you have the Hood in Daredevil? Do you know how killer that would be? Like,
Ironheart.
that's dumb.
We like the actor who it is, so he's very likable. So I'm curious because Parker, the guy who is that's Brian Cable on creation, he's
Right?
likable. He's just in a bad situation. He's just it's like a
Yeah,
noir
he's
character.
not even like a bad guy in the
No,
first miniseries.
no,
Like Bendis kind of changes the whole character around, which
I don't
Bendis
want that.
does.
Yeah, but I don't think it's good.
No, it's not
I don't
actually.
think it's good.
I think it's an affront to what Brian Keevan created in the miniseries.
Yeah.
Bendis also changed around Sentry. He didn't need to do it.
Mm.
Like he just, I don't know. I like Bendis, but like
Gotta bend
sometimes
it. There is
Bendis
still
like
a
Beckham,
storyline.
right?
I forget what it is. There's a
That was
storyline
a
that
that was a
was
good
never
pun,
done.
Mark.
Ben is like Beckham.
Bendis
Pretty.
like Beckham.
There's a storyline that I know that the iFanboy guys always give him shit about. Ron from iFanboy always gives him shit, and every time he sees him, Ben just like shakes his head. He's like, "Don't say it, don't say it," because they ask every time they see him. They say, "What's in the closet?" There's some storyline that was set up in Avengers or New Avengers, and it
Oh yeah.
never got resolved ever,
God. You know what I would say
ever.
to him? I'd be like, when are we getting more Brilliant? I thought Brilliant was great.
That was
You
what
know
Bagley. That
that
was
was
the
the
Bagley
Bagley
Superman.
creator-owned Icon series.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a Superman kind of character-ish.
I think it was like a bunch of college kids get powers.
Uh,
Kind of stupid. It's almost like he wrote it to be a TV show.
well,
It
yeah,
was not brilliant, Mark.
it was not brilliant.
It was not brilliant, mate.
Well,
So
everyone, have a great
we
week.
are. Let's end on a whimper.
That's what we
Everyone have
do.
a great week.
Everyone have a great week. Bend this like Beckham. What did we
Bend
say?
us like Beckham.
Bend
Um,
this like Beckham.
read comics.